Naomi, issue 2, Brian Michael Bendis and David F. Walker writing, with Jamal Campbell on the art.
There's so many questions, but the way that they're paced out, the answers are coming. So it's still satisfying because, and Bendis doesn't sacrifice development for these questions either.
No, I mean, some people hate how decompressed Bendis is, but I actually, I like the pacing of his stories, and I think here it's working really well. And there's been some really good connections. I mean, you pointed out last time how the fight in Superman, the last issue, was the fight that kind of went into Naomi's town, and there's that stuff's going on. It feels like part of the world. So she's asking this mechanic about who she really is. Like, you just said my day of my adoption was the last time I had a superhero thing. But how do you know what day I was adopted? You're just a random mechanic in town. We don't know each other. Right. And he basically kicks her out and, I'm not talking to you, and runs away. So Naomi asks her parents at dinner. There's a great 2-page layout of her just listening to them talk about whatever random nonsense is going on in town.
Complete banality of life stuff. Dad's talking about work, mom's talking about her work, and she's just sitting there before she finally blurts out, "Why does the mechanic know my birth date?" Yeah.
And, they're kind of freaked out by this, and she's asking, what do I have to do with Superman? Am I special? Who are my real birth parents? And they don't have answers. They're genuinely unsure.
Yeah, and I love that section of it, too, because they're like, "Honey, if we knew, we would tell you, but it was a closed adoption. There's no way for us to know. Now, are they lying? We don't know."
Yeah,
but
it doesn't seem like it.
The way that it's presented here, it definitely seems like they're telling the truth.
Yeah, So she says, is the mechanic my birth father? And she's like, that's a bit of a leap, honey. And I'm like, I don't know. There's reasons to think that maybe he is.
Yeah. Well, by the end, we see something.
Joe, it's funny.
It makes us think that, but
there's a really confusing double-page splash in the middle of Superman fighting some bad guys, and I was like, where does this fit into things? And then you turn the page, and it's actually her wallpaper, or not a wallpaper, but she's looking at the news story on the computer.
Yep.
And that's where the
well, if you look, they're all rogues. You got Girder, you got
the
Weather
Flash
Wizard.
villains,
Yeah. So I wonder where that's going to pop up, because
next action of Superman, I bet, will somehow will end up fighting rogues. And she's talking to her friend, and she's asking all these questions, and she does figure out though that the mechanic did do time in Iron Heights.
Yeah, and that's what I like too. And then I like how she said it sounds like a knowing that's where Jeff Johns is from. He created Iron Heights. It's a little fun piece.
Yeah,
Bendis and Walker throwing in there.
Yeah, and then bizarrely she's having these weird dreams of her in this armor fighting dragons.
Yo, that looks like Gem World. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, she's got this giant axe. She's got this something. She's got not an eye patch, but her armor covers one of her eyes. It's a whole thing, and I knew you were going to like this because she has a giant axe. I knew you were going to be.
Oh, of course, I know. I'm a self-parody at this point.
But some of my favorite things about this book are when it just quietens down, because she can't sleep, so she just gets a skateboard. And I love the idea of her going off to investigate with a skateboard. And she's got a flashlight, and she's sneaking into the mechanic's place, which is unlocked. And she finds this photo of the mechanic when he was younger with this woman who looks a lot like her.
Yes. Real quick, so I remember seeing this now from Talking Superman, again, friend of the show, that was in Action Comics 1004, the Iron Heights stuff. Because I'm looking at it now.
Really?
Yep. So he's punching Girder in the face. And it's an opposite angle, but still kind of the same. So, but yeah. Anyways.
That's really cool. It's nice that it's all syncing up like that.
But yeah, so she sneaks in, and I love how she's... and it's all done, again, the storytelling through the art.
Yeah, no, the art's
mostly
gorgeous.
silent pages here.
Yeah, the art's fantastic. And I love how the coloring's very different on the photograph. It's much brighter and happier, and just feels different. And he's he shows up and says, "Hey, can I have that back? It's my only one." And he seems like he really cares about the photo. And she asks, "Who is this?" And he's like, "We're not doing this. We're not doing this. I can't talk about this." And he screams at her because I'm not ready. I'm not ready to have this conversation.
Well, and his name tag is just D. And
his name's what? Sorry, you cut out.
His name tag, it just says D, because that's how everybody knows him. because that was also a question to the mom and dad, and they're like, I don't know, why would we know his name? He's just a mechanic.
Yeah.
Right. But him in that picture, like he's all big and jacked still, but there's no tattoos. He has a full head of hair and a full-on beard. And you look at him now, and he's this tattooed monstrosity, looking like a Vin Diesel meets Bane.
Yeah.
You know?
And this is the end of the issue. Naomi just doesn't back down. She's like, "Well, get ready, because I am. Who are you, and who am I?" She's like demanding for answers. So, Joe, I like it, but I think you could complain that it's a similar cliffhanger to the first issue in the sense that we end again with the mechanic and like demanding answers. Mm-hmm. But I like this issue because it deals with the mystery to her and how it's weighing on her mind and how it's affecting her. We see how like emotionally, because it's like her birthright and like who are her parents and that kind of thing. But it's also this greater mystery of who is he? Is this her father? Is that her mother? I'm going to assume that he's not her father. Actually, I think it's too obvious. Yeah. But
like, I think that's like best friend. Like he knew the mom.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but I don't think that's dad. That said, he is from Iron Heights. There's greater ties to like there's a theory out there that this ties into Legion. So there's ties there with the Flash and time travel. Like why was he in Iron Heights and all this other stuff?
Yeah, and like what was this superhero thing that happened on this day that she was adopted? And is that why she was put up for adoption?
Yeah.
Because if it was the day she was put up for adoption, it was after she was born. She was already existing in some capacity.
Yeah. Also, I feel like this is Bendis's like take on the Superman origin, where he's adopted and like mom and dad don't want to talk about it. He came from space and there's a spaceship in the garage, but I feel like it's been updated to the modern.
Yeah.
So, whatever it is, I'm really enjoying it. Again, I'm playing this physically now, so that's the commitment I'm making.
As am I, man. As am I. No, I'm really into the mystery, but I think the most important part is though, all in the fact that I also really like the art is. I just really like the character. I like the drama between her and her parents, her and her friends. Like I'm into it. It's one of the more grounded stories we've got in DC Universe. So, I like it, and I'm okay with it becoming a thing where she becomes like an important character. She becomes a hero or something. Like, but I like it right now. I don't know where it's going with it. I don't know what sort of power she's going to have.
It's kind of what I wanted him to do with Riri in Iron Man. Instead of just having her being like this fully formed character, at MIT, she created her own suit. Take it back from the beginning. Let's see her origin without just wedging her in. And here I feel like that's what he's doing. He's fully forming this character. So whoever she becomes, whatever she's tied to, it doesn't feel like she's just being wedged in there. So yeah. Like, if this character has lasting power, I can see her becoming one of my favorites. Because she's got that... I love the cut of her jib.
Yeah. I love her determination to find out. I love her sneaking off in the middle of the night. That's the sort of thing I like. Kids get into hijinks, but for good reasons, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like that. It's what I like about something like Stranger Things or your,
Goonies.
Yeah, all that kind of thing. So no, 2 was great. What are you giving it, Matt?
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 9 as well. I love it.